Coming up in this episode, man, as things take a stranger turn, a lot of twist, a lot of turning, a lot of shucking and jiving. And like I told y'all before, and I produced a video when Don Lemon was talking about the interview that Brandon Tatum had with the so-called Nolan Wells friends. It was the second interview. And like I stated, there was a problem with that interview. Do y'all think by Brandon Tatum interviewing them kids again, is this helping the kids or is this hurting the kids? Because a lot of people have come to the agreement, like me, saying that this is just hurting these kids. There's no reason to sit down and interview these kids no more. Let the law enforcement and the FBI and people that are investigating this Nolan Wells tragedy, let them do what they have to do to get justice for Nolan Wells. And Brandon Tatum, things are just getting worse because a lot of people, a lot of content creators, a lot of mainstream media outlets such as CNN, the Don Lemon Show, Nancy Grace, they're basically saying that Brandon Tatum is just looking out for his own best interests because he has a major platform with over 2 million subscribers. So when this storyline is all said and done, Brandon Tatum is going to be right in the mix of it. If there ever is going to be a true crime story about this or a mystery on Horn Island, Brandon Tatum is going to be the centerpiece to the whole story. Now, he has done 2 interviews, one with Warren. Now Warren brought his friends with him. And also he brought, the lawyer that they lawyered up with, the ex-Donald Trump lawyer, to defend them. And I've always said, man, if you're innocent and did no wrongdoing, why would you lawyer up? And Brandon Tatum has been getting crucified all over social media. We don't have to give a rundown on Brandon Tatum. Everybody knows what Brandon Tatum stands for. Everybody knows what side he's on. Everybody knows what part he's playing. And that's why he's getting crucified the way he's getting crucified. Now, y'all remember the show I produced with Trent Out Loud exposing Brandon Tatum's DMs, and then he ran for his life. And I don't even know if the interview between Trent Out Loud and Brandon Tatum is going to take place because Brandon Tatum was on the run. But he continuously wants to interview these so-called Nolan Wells friends. Now, there is a psychological therapist by the name of Elliott Connie that has been making his rounds, and he has picked up some traction on his YouTube platform because he's a psychology therapist. And a lot of people have reached out to him to get interviews. I saw he did an interview with Nancy Grace. I saw him on the Willie D show, and he breaks down different postures and different procedures when people conduct interviews. And like I told y'all guys, the interview that Brandon Tatum had with them kids, the second interview, everything seems like it's coerced. You're not asking the right questions. You're leading in with questions that are really open-ended. And that's why these kids are getting scrutinized on social media for the way they responding. But that's all because of Brandon Tatum, what he's asking these young kids. And Elliott Connie has broke it down. And Elliott Connie had Trent Out Loud on his show. And they broke it down. And that's why things are getting worse for Brandon Tatum. But before we get off into what they discussed, y'all do me a favor. Please like, comment, and subscribe on the video. And I want y'all guys to pay attention to everything that Elliott Connie is saying and what Trent Out Loud is saying. And they are basically blowing up Brandon Tatum's spot. So I want y'all guys to sit back and enjoy what these guys have to say. Pay attention.
I want to get your response on this too, because one of the things, since you brought up like the plight that these boys, it's interesting. They tried to center their own story, in their own pain in the midst of this tragic event. And I couldn't help but think, what about the family? And as they're talking about like we're receiving threats and we're receiving death threats, which I don't support any of that.
Me neither. But I want to make it clear.
Yeah, I want to make it 100% clear. But the mother has been tormented online. She was review bombed at her job. An anonymous person made a complaint upon her nursing license was sent her under review. And she has had overt death threats.
Yes.
And I found it odd when you watch the entire interview. I want to get your response on this. They refer to him as like my best friend and brother. I found it odd that they make no remarks about like, we're going through something really hard. I can't even imagine what the mother is going. Like they make no remarks like that. What are your thoughts on that?
That's the same thing I said to Harvey. Harvey's talking about Judge Ashley Cole when somebody got arrested because a white woman says that she has threats. But what about Christine? What about Christine, the one who's grieving because she lost the son? What about the threats that she's getting? And like you said, the job reviews, the open investigation, smeared all over the place.
Fact.
And you're sitting down there and you're talking about your brother. That means that you should be looking at Christine as a mom. I have best friends that their mom, I call them mom, and my best friends call my mom mom. My mom literally just said that to my best friend that called the other day. I gave her the phone. Hey, son. Why are you not thinking about Christine? That's how you know it's a lie and it's all a sham. This is what is ridiculous. And we have discussed this where it's like, when former Officer Tatum first came on, we're like, let's not platform him. Let's not talk about it. I mean, you and I have talked about this. It's beyond platforming. He's already in the mix. He's already in the conversation. 10 years from now, while we review this case and when there's a documentary, he's going to be there. So he has injected himself so far into this.
That's exactly what I said.
BS. There's no remorse. There's nothing about Christine. There's nothing about Elmore. There's nothing about the family. Every time you open your mouth about what you're going through, you should say, oh my gosh, what? I can't imagine, I can't fathom what Christine and Elmore must be going through, because I know it's hard for us to deal with it, but they lost a son, bro. It's crazy.
And subsequent to losing a son, they've been absolutely tormented online.
Yeah,
which again, it's weird that you're like, yeah, our friend can't get a Gatorade, but you make no mention whatsoever. And did you notice this? So as a psychotherapist, I can't help but notice like little small
skills
things.
Is terrible.
And one of the things I noticed, to Trent's point, I also have a best friend, and his parents are like my parents. Last time I was in Massachusetts, where I'm from, I stayed at his parents' house. I didn't stay at his house. I stayed at his parents' house. Like, these are my people. They're family just as much as my actual blood family. And did you notice that one of the young men referred to Christine, the mom,
Christine Wells.
And I was like, but that's not her name. She does not go by that name. She either goes by Christine Wansley or Christine Wells Wansley. And I was like, if you're that close to this person, how are you not getting the name correct?
They're blowing up the spot.
100%. And if you remember in the first interview, he said Miss Christine, which is very Southern, right? Miss Christine. And now the second one, now is Christine Wells, which lets me know, and you will be able to answer this better than me from your psychotherapist standpoint, that lets me know that he's upset. He's fed up. So he's not calling her by any respectable Southern name anymore. It's now just Christine Wells. And not that's my take for it.
No, I don't think that's actually accurate, actually.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think that's inaccurate. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm on the same page with that, because if you were to ask me the overtone of this interview is anger, frustration, and resentment.
Yes.
And it's like, we're
blowing up the spot.
We're in the middle of this story, and they're not taking any accountability. Now, do I believe they should take accountability for, his death, killing him, murdering? Like, I don't know. I don't know what happened. And we have consistently said that. Yeah. But here's what I do know. And if this were me, I would feel incredibly bad. For sure. And you would be able to pick up this feeling bad.
Of course.
What we do know is, on the last day of this young man's life, you went to Horn Island. And this is by their own admission. You went to Horn Island on this boat. Your friend meets a girl and says, I'm going to stay here to go talk to the girl. To be honest with you, I don't find that particularly surprising or shocking or uncommon. When I was 19 years old, that very likely would have happened. Then he says, I'm going to go stay with the girl. I'll find another ride home. You did not either A, try to convince him to stay on the boat, because that's a risky thing to do, or B, there were 4 of you. 2 of us are going to go home on the boat. 1 of us is going to stay with you, Nolan, to make sure you get home safe. They did not do that. And as a consequence, everybody came home safely except Nolan. And I don't hear them taking accountability for that part of the story, which also I find odd. I find that very strange.
Man, guys, if y'all just sit there and listen to exactly what Elliott, Connie said, and what Trent Out Loud said, basically they're blowing up Brandon Tatum's spot. Because basically, as an ex-officer, who would want him to be in an interrogation room to interrogate somebody? He's not the one, because he leads in with questions that they already know the answer. So it wasn't like he's asking questions and they freely putting things out there. This was all a script. And people are seeing that. That's why they're saying that he needs to stop while he's ahead. This is not helping these young men out, because now everything is looking more suspicious because of the answers that they're providing based off the interviewer. What y'all call him, Tap Dance Tatum? Based off of what he's asking these young men, that's why they're getting criticized. Y'all got to blame Brandon Tatum for this. That's why I said, is he helping them, or is he hurting them and making them look a little bit more suspicious than what they looked before? And this is why I say things are getting worse for Brandon Tatum. I just saw a video earlier that he has publicly came out and apologized to Nolan Wells' mom. See, because a lot of content creators are on his neck and exposing him for the lies and the narrative that he's pushing. And the guy, Elliott, Connie, that's a smart individual. Anytime that you're doing psychological therapy and you can analyze a lot of things in interviews that are just off, the body language, how you reference things, it's crazy that it gets that deep. But this is where we at now. And shout out to everybody, man, that's been following along as I've been providing this coverage for you guys. Shout out to the subscribers and supporters that have followed me on Instagram and started DMing me clips of certain subjects. When did you see this? Talk about this. And that's why I come back and respond and do a reaction to what these people are saying about Brandon Tatum. So I appreciate everybody that's reached out, and y'all keep them coming, and I'll keep providing the information. Y'all do me a favor, man. Y'all get down in that comment section. Let me know what y'all think about today's video, man. And like I stated, do you think this second interview is helping the kids out? Or is this hurting them? Or did this second interview get some clarification about what happened? Because we still don't know what happened on Horn Island. Because the interview, like Elliott, Connie said, is becoming the centerpiece of the young men and not Nolan. Y'all get down in that comment section.
I see everyone in the comment section, #salute. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on your post notifications so you will know every time I drop a hot banger. Oh yeah, just in case I forgot, tell a friend to tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. And that will wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. Catch you on the next one. Deuces.